Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I go by the name of Sembe Cool for those who don't know me. And for my returning subscribers, regular, welcome back. Okay, today I'll be sharing my story on how did I do Matric and be at tertiary at the same time. Yeah, it's crazy, I know, but I did that and I wrote some essential points here that I think I might need. This video will I'm trying by all means to make it short, but I think it's gonna be the longest video I've ever made. So starting from 2018 where I did my matric, I was 17 at the time. I passed with the admission to a bachelor's pass with an APS of 27. I'll post my results somewhere in the screen. So I was happy that time, and my family, my mom was happy. So we tried doing some walk-ins because I only applied via CAO and I was rejected for all the programs that I have applied to. You're this dog. I was rejected to all the programs that I have applied to. So my mom suggested that I do the walk-ins. Luckily for me, I got in at DUT for public management. I didn't know what public management was before I started, the first time I heard about public management was when I was doing walk-ins in DUT, and I didn't even understand what it is about. I didn't like public management at all, and I knew that I didn't belong there because I was doing different modules from the subject that I did in high school. I was on a science stream, so now I was doing economics. I was doing public finance, and public finance is not the same as financial maths. I was doing legislation, learning more about the parliament, learning more about the constitution of South Africa, all those things. And for me personally, I couldn't relate anything, and I didn't understand why am I learning this, because I don't want to be a president. But yeah, I didn't like the course. I hated it, and each and every year of it became a burden to me because I knew I don't like this, and I'm not gonna like it in any time soon. Yeah, 2019, in the middle of the year, I tried to do some internal transfer to the Faculty of Health Sciences because I wanted to. The program that I wanted is under health sciences. Unfortunately, I failed the entrance test, so I couldn't get in. 2020, I told my mom that, Ma, I'm not going back to DUT. It's not worth it. I'm going to try and fix my matric. So 2020, I got a school in the rural area where my grandma is living. That school is a little bit far from my grand's house, but it was hard, but it was a walkable distance, but it was a long distance. Anyway, I got the school. I went to the school for 1 week, and after I told the teacher that I was going to go to DUT and deregister. That time, it was in January, and students were busy with their registration. And when I got there, I told them I'm here to deregister, and the lady on the finance department was like, why do you want to deregister? I was like, I don't like the course, and I'm failing to transfer, and the course that I want needs a little bit higher APS and level 4 for physics, which I don't have. And she was like, no, don't. I would advise you to not deregister because you're an NSFAS funded student. If you deregister, it will come out as if you're a dropout student, and that will make you a bad person for the future funding, if you're probably gonna need the funding for the future studies. And I took her advice, so I register, and I never come back to the school again. So I just went to high school for like a week, and my mom was like, well, how? And I told my mom, like, Ma, I have registered. And she was like, how? And you're going back to high school? I mean, I've bought everything for you. I've bought you a new uniform, everything, a lunchbox, this thing. I mean, the food, low kaftin. And I was like, Mom, they advised me not to. And she was like, oh, okay, you do your thing, girl. Then in the middle of the year, I tried to, oh, I applied to other university, not other universities. I only applied to CPUT for the course that I wanted. And they have put me on a waiting list. And January came, January 2021. Excuse me, they told me I was rejected due to space availability. And I took that. 2021, 2021, I was doing my in-service training. I started doing it from August to January. So I was doing my in-service training for 6 months, and I hated it there. It was hell. I was so depressed while doing my in-service training. I knew that I hated being an administrator. Not that I had the, maybe like I was in the worst environment. No. I mean, I was doing my in-service training at NYDA, and the people there, the colleagues, were very nice. I don't want to lie, they were like really nice people. It's just that I didn't like the course. I didn't like the environment. I didn't like what I was doing, sitting in the computer for the whole day, sitting in the chair and busy on the computer for the whole day, typing the. No, guys, it's not my thing. I don't like that. I like to work with people, but not to be in the office. Okay, I like to be in the office, but not that kind. Doing the minutes of the meeting, that thing, it's not mine. So I hated it there. And what made it worse was that BUT told us that we didn't have a funding. So while doing our in-service training, the only allowance that we got was from NSFAS, which was 1.5. On that 1.5, you have to travel, you have to buy toiletries, you have to buy a lunchbox. It is like, 1.5 money if you're like depending on it monthly. Okay, so I did that. I was so depressed. I knew Wuti, because I wouldn't go to work for like a week or like 2 days, 3 days. Not because I was sick or anything, but it's just that I was suffocating. I even called my mom crying, telling her that I want to quit. And she advised me not to quit because she said, like, girl, I understand that you don't like what you're doing, but you're doing your in-service training, you're doing your final year. You've been doing this. I know that you can push a little bit more, because you need this qualification so that at least you have something to fall back on. I mean, if your way doesn't work, then you have something to fall back on. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take her advice. I pushed, and it was hard, guys. It was hard. So 2020, January 22 came. Oh, I remember I told my colleagues there, would say, no, guys, I want to go to high school. I want to redo my matric. And my boss said, the manager, he just said, I know nobody has ever told you this, but Tembega uyahlanya. He said it jokingly. He was like, I know people are afraid to tell you this, but you're so crazy. Like what you're saying right now, it's crazy. And I was like, okay, okay. And other colleagues started saying, yeah, that's crazy. And I was like, okay, because I didn't know what to do. I mean, what to say at that time, because I knew what I wanted. I knew how I felt. I was struggling. I was crying my butt off because of doing public management. I knew I couldn't take it anymore. So January 2020 came, and I went to find a school. It was hard finding a school, but eventually I got another school, a different one from the one that I was in 2020, because I wouldn't go there because teachers, I'm sure they would be like, she will leave like she left the previous year. So yeah, January 2022, I got the school and I started to enroll on my matric. So I got the school, and initially I wanted to go to grade 11 because I knew I liked basic and physics. I didn't want to upgrade because I didn't have basic. I didn't knew physics. I didn't know physics at all. Like literally, I oh guys. Yabo nje Doppler effect ukuthi bayini momentum. Yo guys, I didn't know physics at all. Like physical sciences together with chemistry. I didn't know it at all, at all. So when I got to the school premises, my cousin was the one who was gonna register me. So I was like, cuz I wanna try Matric. I'm gonna take a risk and try Matric. Probably it's gonna work out. And they enrolled me to Matric because I have passed my enrolled me to Matric because I have passed my my Matric. So yeah. So I started, I was done with public management by then. Finished the course. The only thing that was left for me at DUT was the graduation ceremony. So I went back to high school to do my Matric. The first time, I was studying very hard. I don't want to lie. And by March, I don't remember the dates, we got our invitation to the graduation ceremony. We were happy. But a week after, we were told that there was a mistake from the institution. We cannot graduate. We don't meet the minimum requirements. Like the whole not public management, but the whole management faculty, which include public management and supply chain. So we're told that we're not gonna graduate on the May-June graduation, which is at the beginning of the year. We need to do the modules that are outstanding. Guys, you tell me, how can a whole institution not see that there were like outstanding modules? Like for these 3 years we've been at the UT, they're not seeing that there is something wrong. There are modules that are outstanding. So at that time I was so confused, I was so hurt, and I couldn't even focus on my Matric. Like I was like, not this again, not this again. I've been through so much already. Like, God, why can't I just finish this course and be done with it? I was so through with it. Like I was so done. Oh, before I even went to Matric, I went to the Department of Education to ask, and the lady there to ask about my story would see, I completed my diploma and now I want to go back to my Matric. What would happen to my Matric certificates, the 2018 Matric certificate? The lady there was like, wait a second. She called a guy from the inside, and the guy came. She told her my story, and the guy was like, oh, I've never heard of such. They called another guy, and I was standing there and be like, oh my god, I hope they're not gonna judge me, because I know a lot of people judged me, and I was like, oh my god, I'm hoping they're not gonna judge me. And now you can see, like their face, they were so a little bit judgmental, and they were like not judgmental like that, but not in a bad way, but they were like, girl, why do you want to do that? Why can't you like upgrade? I was like, no, upgrading is not an option for me. Like I really need to be in high school because there are class tests, your assignment, it's way cheaper for free because I'm gonna go to the government school and no fee school, and they understood, but they were like, girl. But they told me that there is no such a thing as the cancellation of the Matric certificate. If you're going to do your Matric, and if you did your Matric in 2018 and going to do it in 2021 or 2022, whatever year, all those Matric results will be valid in the institution. They will be valid in the Department of Education. It's just that you have to choose the one that you're gonna use. But they're all valid. There is nothing such as the cancellation. I know we've been told but what I was told in the Department of Education, they said there is no such. And another statement that supports that, another effect that supports this statement is that when I logged in this year at CPUT for my application status, I just saw my matric results from 2018 and the other one from 2022. Like the results are there from all the institutions that I've applied to. They're gonna have both my results. You know. Okay, another thing. So we were told that we're not gonna graduate because we didn't have enough credits. We didn't meet with the minimum credits that are required for a graduation ceremony. I mean, for us to graduate. So we had to do these modules. So depending on how short you are of credits, some people took 3 modules, some people took 2, and some people took 1. I was taking 2 modules. So they made the online classes because some people were doing their postgraduates, doing their advanced diploma, and I was in matric. Some people were working. I'm talking about the people that had this problem, the management class of 2022, of 2021 actually. The management class of 2021 that had to add modules. Okay, so it was very inconvenient. So that's why they made it online. So that's how I managed to be in matric and also studying at the UT at the same time. So I was doing these 2 modules, but I wasn't like learning each and every day for public management. I was studying in matric just like any other matriculant, and on the weekends I would look at the lecture slides, try to participate on these groups that we made, because there were assignments. And guys, it was hard, doing the assignment. Now I have to type an assignment, and here I have to do my homework. I have to practice my physical sciences and maths because I was lacking on those. It was, and also study business study because I was doing business study for the first time in matric. Guys, it was hell. And I was going through the most. I called my friend crying, called my mom crying, telling them I can't do this. It was on my last nerve, and it was like, yeah, I was crying, calling them. I was like, no, I can't do this. My mama was like, girl, I understand, but it's just a couple of months now. Guys, my mom has been my number one supporter. Together with my sister. I'm very thankful and grateful to have people like them in my life. Like, I can explain how I felt having them around. We pushed, and luckily I passed those modules by 50 and 60. To be quite honest, I didn't mind even if it was 50 on the dot. Mang passile, mang totally pass mark, everything was fine. And let me tell you guys, when I was going back to high school, people from the rural areas, know me. So they knew that I was in varsity, They were like, why did you go back to school? Like, and I would tell them, no, I want to fix my matric. And there were rumors in the whole rural area that I failed. In DUT. There were a lot of stories that I heard about me. But because my mom got me, I didn't stress about them. Even my grandma was so supportive. She was like, don't mind them. You do your thing. And I was like, vele. Why am I minding these people? They're on my business. They don't even know me like that. Like, people were talking. They were talking, and they have been my motivation just to prove them wrong. But not initially, I wanted to prove people wrong, no. But when I got there, and there was a chaos. And even the way people looked at me, they were like, girl. So they were like my motivation. So September came, the 30th was the date that we were going to graduate. So we received another invitation to the graduation. I wasn't even too excited about it. I didn't even tell my father's family about that graduation because earlier I even posted on my WhatsApp status that I was going to graduate, and it didn't happen. So now I was afraid we would see, and maybe there would be another issue coming up again. So I didn't tell anybody. I only told my mom, my grand. That's it. Like my mother's side of the family. Not even all of them. My mom and my grand and my sisters. I just went to graduation and people were like, oh, you didn't. Like my father's family were like so unhappy that I didn't tell them. And I explained after coming back and they understood. We'll see. Yeah, I was afraid of disappointment again. Okay, so fast forward, I graduated in 30th. I graduated on the 30th of September. It was, the school were closed. Okay, they were not closed, I'm lying. But they were gonna close the following week. So that I asked my class teacher, told her that I was going on a graduation, because she knew that I was coming from university. She was like, girl, what's happening? I'm like, yeah, I finished the course and the only thing that was left was graduation. And she was like, oh, you're giving me. And I laughed and okay. That's how I managed, guys. I hope this video is not too long, and I hope I have tackled all the questions that you guys have asked. And people were asking, where were you doing your matric? I was at Empangeni, a high school, but you don't have to go to the same school that I went to. Excuse me. There are a lot of schools. Try your nearby schools just to save money, to save yourself, because that school wasn't perfect either. I wouldn't recommend that you guys go to that school. No, it's not about the school. It's about what you have in your head. You can go to any school. Because Mina, I saw this video, the similar videos to Rachel Nessie. I hope she says this one. I saw this video of her explaining her process after she went to college and do these ends for engineering and went back to high school, except the fact that she didn't graduate, but she was in Gauteng, so you can do it anyway. You don't need to even change a province. You don't need to be at the town where I was at, Empangeni. Yenza lapho khona. Do it where you are, just to save energies, to save money, to save everything. But it's not about the school, you guys. I was so happy when the results came. When the results came, guys, did I not cry? When the results came, did I not cry? Okay. Okay. On the 19th midnight, I saw the thingy. I saw that when they released the paper, they have screenshotted our school, the paper, the name of my school, and I was exam number 4. So I saw that I have the 4 distinctions. Like I was like, oh my goodness, I was so happy. But I knew that I was gonna get distinction and I was expecting them. I was expecting a 5 actually, but anyway. But my worry was on maths and physics, because maths paper 2 maths paper 2 had an error, right? And I spent a lot of time doing that paper. I even asked while we were writing, I asked the examiner to call my maths teacher, and they were like, he is not allowed to come in. And I said, but the paper has a problem. They said, if the paper has a problem, girl, they would have told us that's the paper, And I was like, oh my goodness. I spent a lot of time on that question. And it was hell. It was hell. It was hell. But you guys, I was happy that I've passed. I was happy that I got what I got. And for physics, it wasn't that hard, but physics is not my thing. Like literally, it's not my thing. But I managed to pass, I was happy with the pass mark because I know physics is hell. It is, but I don't know. I ain't say the same bit. But anyway, guys, let me just share this piece of advice for those who are watching this video. Please, if you have a chance, if you have passed your matric pretty well, don't do walk-ins. Don't go for a course that you don't like. Don't do a course with the hope that you're gonna do a transfer, the internal transfer. It's possible, but not highly possible. It's possible, but It's hard to pass the course that you don't know. It's hard to pass the course that you don't like. You know, it's even hard to study because you'll be like, why am I doing this? It's hard. If you are not accepted, just take a gap year. It's hard to be on a gap year, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. I know one of my friends took a gap year and got a bursary for Funza Shaga. He's doing teaching. I mean, it was worth it to wait, I guess. Thank you guys for watching this video until this far. I hope you guys found this video very informative, and please let me know if you have questions under the comment section down below. It will be my pleasure to answer your questions, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.